Okay, so this is one of our spy crime robots. So this one here we've got would be will belong to group four. Now the way we're going to use these is each group will have one robot that they'll share, and they'll use the same robot every single time. So if you've got, as in this one, group four, it means you've got to make sure each lesson that you grab the same one. Now the configuration of these robots has already been set up. So the whole point of this is that you don't have to build this or worry about it, but also I do not want any of these plugs to be adjusted because that will make things a little bit confusing for you moving forward. At the moment, all of the robots in the set are all configured exactly the same way. So what we've got here is at the bottom of our robot, we've got our motors, and these are driving our wheels, which we can have a lot of control over exactly how much they rotate and the distance they cover. We've got our color sensor down the bottom, which we will eventually use to detect a line on the ground so it can follow it. And we've got our ultrasonic sensor at the front, which allows it to detect distance by sending out a ultrasonic wave, which then bounces back and it converts that into a measurement of distance. Now, we've used some similar things last year with the microbits. We had a different version of an ultrasonic sensor, and we also had a light sensor. So this one's a bit of an upgrade because it will also detect different types of colors. Now, we also have at the back of it a simple button sensor, which you can then program your robot to respond to. So a little bit of human input in the program. Okay, now what we're going to do with the basics of this thing is how to turn it on and also to turn it off. So if we look at the front here and we ignore this big tangle of wires, which are really hard to hide, we've got one large button down the bottom. So to turn it on, we just hold that in. And that's now on, okay? And you can see it's got the little love hearts, or a bit of a love heart symbol there, which is hard to see. Now, we've also got a little button up here, which is our Bluetooth. So at the moment, this is not Bluetooth connected. And when we press that button on, it'll start to make a beeping noise and it flashes, and that's showing you that it's waiting to pair with a device. So in order to pair to your robot, it's best to use your iPad, or you can use the laptops which we have in the computer room. The desktop computers, if you want to use one of those, what you need to do is grab one of the USB to micro USB cables that we have, and that will plug into this port at the back. It's always preferable to use the Bluetooth though, because that way you're not stuck with a cable attached which gets caught up as your robot's spinning around and navigating. And it also can't travel very far if you've got one of those cables. Now, at the end of a lesson, when you're finished with this, the way we turn it off is you hold in this power button and that's now off. And you can then return it back up to the desk at the front, and you can also plug it into one of the cables so it can be charged at that back port. All right, so that's the basics of how to turn it on, turn it off, get the Bluetooth activated, and a little bit of a heads up on the different types of sensors that this robot will use to detect and move around in the environment.